Anyways, we are doing what a lot of you are here for probably. We are doing a ban list discussion now. Yo, real quick, before we start, it is me from the future telling you about the sponsor for today's video. And no, it's not some mobile game. It is something that I actually think is quite cool and is Yu-Gi-Oh related. Because this video is sponsored by the creator of this custom Yu-Gi-Oh Lego set on the Lego Ideas program, which is a program where anyone can create a Lego set. And if it gets enough support from the public, Lego will take it into consideration and potentially release it as an official product. All it takes is 10,000 supporters on the page, and it's completely free. All it takes is a Lego account, which is also free, and then you can support the project here, which has already reached over 6,500 of the 10,000 required supporters. And I mean, looking at the project itself, I think it's pretty cool. It's a box made out of Lego, and it has the blue eyes and the dark magician on top. So if you are interested in seeing this Lego set in the future or want to support the project for other Lego fans out there, like I said, completely free. Link is in the description below. Thanks for listening. Consider supporting the project, and thank you for supporting today's video. Without further ado, let's move on and get into today's topic. I want your guys' opinion first before we go into this. 1 in chat if you think we need a ban list. 2 in chat if you think we don't. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 1s. Okay, I'm definitely seeing more 1s than 2. Now, I'll give you upfront, before we start with the ban list, right? Before we start talking about what could happen or what should happen, let's talk about whether we need one. I think we don't need one 1000%, but I would still prefer if we got one, because like, I think the best way to phrase it is the current format is fine, but it could be so much better. It could be so much better if we removed some individual problematic cards. It doesn't even need a huge amount of changes right now. If they do a few things, but they do them right, I think we're looking at a great format. The first thing that I want is this. This needs to go. Not only Mystic Mind, but a lot of Floodgates. Goes in, Rivalry, and I would also like to see Anti-Spell. These 4 cards ruin more games of Yu-Gi-Oh than anything else right now. Wishlist or realistic approach. I'm trying to make this a middle way. Partially it's a prediction. Partially it's a wishlist. To be clear, I don't think they're gonna hit all of them. I think the most likely ones they will hit is Mystic Mind and Anti-Spell. For some reason, I think they want Floodgates to exist, but I think the complaints about specifically Mystic Mind and Anti-Spell have gotten too loud. I personally have a hard time believing that they can just ignore literally everyone screaming at their face to ban these cards. The last couple tournaments, every single big tournament stream has been ruined, or like multiple games have been ruined by these 2 cards specifically, and Rivalry and Goes In are very close. I think they're gonna have a hard time ignoring these. If they go another list without touching these, I think they might actually start losing players because of it. I think people are sick of it. People will do a lot of things in Yu-Gi-Oh and they will still keep playing even though things are going in wrong directions and shit. But with these 2 cards and Floodgates in general, I think if they do this for too long, people are actually gonna leave the game, and I think they have to realize that. So I think these 2 are getting banned. With these 2, I don't know. I hope so. Scythe is the same thing. People have been screaming for a Scythe ban for forever. I would argue that if we had these 5 bans, I think the meta would actually be fine. There's some other cards that we will talk about that could or should be banned, but if they only do these 5, I'd be super happy. Skill Drain, for example, is another card that I don't like, but Skill Drain arguably has the most counterplay out of all of these cards, in the sense that like you can outplay Skill Drain in some decks. Like Tearlaments can outplay Skill Drain, for example. Skill Drain is not fine. Winda is not fine, but there is more ways to play around these than these 5 on the screen right now. In my wish list, I would include Winda and Skill Drain, but I'm trying to keep it somewhat realistic, so I'm gonna keep them here. I would love to see Called by the Grave banned. I don't think it's gonna happen though, which is why I'm not gonna include it. I think it should happen. I think they should do it, but I don't think they will, so I'm gonna keep it here. It's annoying, but I think it's not gonna happen. Another card that I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but I think it should, is Snow. Let me say it, I like Snow. I love Snow. The card is very cool. It gives me nostalgic feelings. I like Snow a lot, but the card is too powerful, man. The card is too powerful. I don't know if they will do it because they just brought it back. I think it might take them a while to ban it again. If I had to give you an honest prediction, I think we're gonna be stuck with Snow for a while, for a couple formats, until they give in and ban it. But I think they're not gonna be like, yeah, we admit that we did a little bit of an oopsie. last ban list, we're gonna immediately ban it again. I don't think it's gonna happen. Do you think Snow is more powerful than Glow Up Bulb? No. I mean, I think Glow Up Bulb could come back if we didn't have Hulk. If they banned Hulk, then we could get back a couple tuners, which is another thing. My opinion on Hulk right now is that at its current state, at its current power level, I don't think Hulk needs to be banned. I would still like if they did it because it would mean that they could bring back a lot of tuners. I don't think they're gonna do it, but I don't think that's the biggest problem. Especially, I think if Scythe goes, Hulk decks are fine. We need to talk about emergency teleport and the Punk engine. In its current state, I don't think you can argue that teleport is definitely doing too much. I think they are going to limit teleport or semi-limit teleport. I don't think that that is the best solution though. If you limit teleport, you don't do anything about, the stuff that you can do with a single Zeamin. The problem is that teleport feels like a fair card when it's being used in, for example, Libromancers. It feels like a good card, but it's fair. When they use it in Sprite to summon Gamma, it feels like a good card, but it's fair. Whenever teleport does not summon Zeamin, the card feels very fair. I think that clearly shows that the more problematic, the more powerful card is the Punk stuff. I would prefer if they banned Chaos Ruler and kept teleport, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But I think that would be a better approach. Some people are saying Curious. I think it's either Curious or Snow that should go. If they banned Curious and kept Snow, that would also be fine with me. Because this leads us to something that I wanted to talk about is I really like Sprite and Tearlaments, and I don't think they will do something major to hit them. But I do think it would be warranted for like a small hit, a very small hit to something that is not a Tearlament card or a Sprite card. For example, I think that the Tearlament deck would be fine if they just banned Snow. That would be my preferred way of hitting the Tearlament deck. And then I don't know what they would do. Like, I mean, I have a hard time saying this. I think banning Toad is not out of the question. As much as I hate to say it, I actually think it's a decent hit for the Tearlament deck. I think you guys underestimate the power of Sprite without Toad. Only because Toad is the best thing you can do right now doesn't mean that Sprite is bad after you do it. You still have a wide array of things you can do with Sprite. You can make Gin Buster, you can make IP, you can leave red on the field, you can leave carrot on the field, you can still have very, very, very good interruptions. Limit starter, that's the thing. You could do that, but I think it's not gonna happen simply because they have just released those cards. I don't think they're gonna hit them like 3 weeks after or 4 weeks after. If we get a ban list soon, I don't think they're gonna hit starter. There's some other cards, like I think it is time for Instant Fusion to go. I predict that they're gonna do something stupid with Super Poly. Like they're gonna limit or semi-limit it, which I think they have to. It's just like too powerful with Garura. I don't know what they were thinking. I will say that putting Super Poly to 1 or 2 is something that I can definitely see happening. It's not a bad change. Like even 1 or 2 Super Poly is like, okay, you now have to really think, okay, is it worth giving up 2 extra deck slots for only 1 or 2 Super Poly? The answer might be no at some point. I think Super Poly needs to be somewhere on the list. Now, what else do we have? I'm gonna say it right now. Out of the non-meta decks, like not Sprite, not Tearlaments, I think the only things that are worth hitting are the Punk engine, Scythe, and Flunder. I think Flunder is like the one exception of a deck that should be hit. I think banning the barrier statue would be the best way. Oh yeah, Brave. I forgot about Brave. Honestly, I think I'm fine with semi-limit Aramesir and semi-limit Enchantress. It's exactly what they did in the OCG. I think it is arguable whether this is the best possible hit. You could ban Griffin and then maybe it's fine to leave them at 3. Just the argument that that's what they did in the OCG, that's what they did in Master Duel, I think means that's probably what's gonna happen to us. And I'm looking at this now. I think if we ban Snow, we don't need to hit Curious. Hitting Toad is debatable. Maybe not Toad. Ban all these and Chaos Ruler, and then limit or semi-limit these down here. I think we are very much fine in terms of the upcoming meta. That would be beautiful, I think. Like, if this list is released like this exactly, I'm like super happy. Halka Firebrax does not need a hit right now. If we hit Chaos Ruler and Scythe, the stuff you can do with Halka Firebrax is super limited. Red Reboot deserves to be banned. You are right. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Now, let's talk about bringing back stuff, right? We don't only ban stuff, we can also bring back stuff. Let me actually pull up the current Forbidden Unlimited list. What could we bring back? Protoss? No way. Gofu? No way. Steam? No way. Dragon Rulers? Arguable. Could happen. But the reason why I don't want Dragon Rulers back is I don't think that something like pure Dragon Rulers would even be good right now. I think the only way you could use Dragon Rulers is like abuse them in some stupid form. I think Eclipse Wyvern could probably come back, even though it'd be very, very strong in Dragon Link. I don't know if we want that. Dragon Link is already powerful. I think Harp Horror could definitely come back. I think it's warranted for Harp Horror to come back. Like, that card should really be released, I think. I think Colossus could come back. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it. I don't think Thunder Dragon would be a huge problem, but just like unbanning a Floodgate just goes against everything that I believe in. Even though I did really like the Thunder Dragon deck. Okay, I'll give it to you. I think Electromite can come back. Especially looking at when we get the Draco Slayer stuff, I think Electromite could come back. I mean, we see Pendulum doing nothing. Most of these cards are good where they are. For the health of the game, I think it is absolutely fine to keep the rest of these banned. As far as limited goes, I don't find it very interesting or helpful to just think about like, oh, can Yada come back to 3 because it doesn't do anything, right? It's like, okay, it didn't do anything, it's not gonna do anything at 3, so why do I care if it's at 1 or 3? It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, if they want to unclog the ban list a little bit and throw Yadagarasu at 3, I don't mind, but it's not gonna be good anyways, so who cares? I think Sekka's Light is one card that I would really like to see, now that you guys are mentioning it. I think Sekka's Light is a card that I really enjoy at 3, but I would still never play a Sekka's Light deck as long as Mystic Might, Rivalry, and Gozen are in the game, right? Like the monster mash decks, you just can't play them in a format where everyone plays Mine and Gozen or whatever. I think the rest can stay as it is. I think if we get this list, I think everyone is happy, right? 1 in chat if you would be happy with this list. 2 if you wouldn't be. I think everyone's saying 2 right now, you have no business being unhappy. How are you not happy with ban Mystic Mine, ban Scythe, ban Barrier Statue, ban Anti-Spell, ban Rivalry, and ban Gozen Match? I don't understand. You cannot be unhappy with that. I refuse to believe you are not happy. So you're like unhappy because one change that you wanted didn't happen? That's so stupid to me. Sprite is the main benefactor of the... I mean, Sprite and Tearlaments just came out. I don't feel the need of hitting Sprite and Tearlaments. I'm only hitting Snow out of Tearlament. Tearlament is still very powerful. I would argue that Tearlament benefits more from banning Mystic Mine than it loses from losing Snow. Instant, okay. Yeah, but Instant is just busted. Instant has to go. So, like, I think Tearlament players are still happy because there's no more Mystic Mine. And your deck is now busted when it goes first. It's like almost no counterplay if you do full combo. It's like much harder for people to play into your board. You think they could hit Crossout? They could. I would like to see a Crossout hit. I don't know if it's gonna happen though. I think it's a good list, honestly. I think I would be very happy with this list. I'm trying to keep it at least somewhat realistic, right? I don't think all of these Floodgates are gonna happen, but I think that's more realistic than them hitting Harpy's Featherstorm. They're also not gonna hit Shifter. Shifter is a side deck card that some people play, right? It's like only Flunder main deck Shifter and Exo Sister. Only very few decks play Shifter. I think they want Shifter to be in the game. Masterpiece? Fuck Masterpiece, dude. No. No. Okay, now my food has gotten cold because I was talking.